So most of you are able to get this document. It is in your handouts, or it would have been sent to you in your email when you first signed up with us. So this part is already done and dusted. So let me put it into like a green color, because this part I know that how you guys can automatically fill. So this part of it, let's just give it a color and then it's done. Okay. That does look ugly. So let's make it like a, yeah, probably, yeah, let's gray it out because it's already done. Okay. Now this part is the one, when you look at it, no, your actual CV, some of you guys will have internships, some of you will get research experience and all that. But for many of you guys, we don't really need it, because if you already have worked for a long period of time in life, we are not going to highlight your internship and research experience. So you might ask, Kritika, in your very first version, why are you asking me for this? And I'll tell you, the very first version, when you come to us, the reason we ask you to list down everything is because we want to identify, hey, you know what? This person has done enough research, which was like, which was like awarded as one of the best things that in the country. So we probably want to highlight it. And this person has done an internship of 6 months in Saudi Arabia or something like that. Okay, so we will take the call on whether you have to keep the internships or research experience and all. The very first time, that is what would have asked. So I'm going to grade this out also. So many a time you're not going to see that in your CV. All right, and the same case with your publications and also your technical skills. Technical skills at the end of the day will be just one liner. Okay, at the end of the day, it's not going to be a lot. So I'm hoping that all these are easy peasy, because it's very simple, whether you know Linux, you don't know Linux. So it's very simple to add it. This is very good for software developers and other engineers and so on. Again, we will not keep everything. We will only put some of the stuff out here and then leave it. So this is, again, I'm going to gray out because it's very simple. And now this part of it is super simple. We always say that, hey, you are a volunteer or anything and all. And you could also have leadership experience, professional development, like memberships, hobbies, community work, voluntary work. We definitely want people to have more voluntary work. So there are a lot of other categories also. Okay, but what you're seeing here is the mandatory category that you're having at this point of time. And of course, you'll have like certifications and then other awards and extracurricular activities, or you might want to split it as awards, whatever it is. So these parts of it, I would say, are fairly straightforward. And this part, this part is the one which takes the most painful time for people to arrive at. All right. So I quickly want to show you like how does a resume look like at the end. Okay. So I will take one of my favorite people in the entire world, and I'll show you that person's sample. And you'll be like, what, Kritika, are you giving out samples? You said you're not going to do that. And I would say that, hey, you know what? Maybe after you see this, you can take a call on if you like the sample or not. Just give me a second while I pull it up. But I hope that everyone. Okay. So here you go for a sample resume. Okay, it's perfectly fictional. No halluc I don't know how many of you read Harry Potter. How many of you read the Harry Potter? Harry Potter seems to be very old these days for many people. Have you watched the movies at least, like many of you? I hope so, right? Okay. Not a lot of you have read about it or seen it. Okay, but some of you have read it and watched it. Okay, so that's why, like, I really like Harry Potter a lot. And people tell me, hey, show me a B school resume, show me a B school resume. I know that Harry Potter never went into a B school, but he or his resume is like an amazing way of understanding how should a one pager look like. Okay, and I'm making it deliberately small for you to get a sense of how it looks like. Your resume at the end of the day just looks like this. That's it. Okay, you would have, let me just make it bigger. So now you saw that it is like a one pager and how it appears, just a one page. And now let's look at the sections. So you have an education section. So people say like, hey, I've seen B school resumes, education is put at the bottom. That's because you're applying for a job later. It's not here. Okay, and then do you see all this? This is the thing. Their professional experience should have like more than 70% of the real estate space. So I would say even internships, technically belongs under professional experience. So you can see that, even by the look of it, there is a lot of real estate given to the professional experience right here. Okay, that's there. And then of course you have community service, leadership experience, and extracurricular activities. So this is something which I really love, and we really had a lot of fun working on this a long time back. So yeah. So here is an example of how you showcase things. Organize conference on fantastic bees and where to find them in collaboration with the Ministry of Magic. Okay, on this date. And organize a workshop on this, blah, 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 and all. And angel investor at Weasley is wizarding Weezes. Okay, it is fun, right, to read this. But yeah, and then this one is leadership is like trainer of Dumbledore's army, etc. And then here is participated in something which is conducted 7 to 14 drives across 7 worldwide locations and all. See, my suggestion to people is if Harry Potter can like quantify his or her own work, I'm sure, or quantify his work, I'm sure you guys can do it as well. All right. So here we go. So in terms of languages, technical skills, and all that, it's very simple. And in terms of certifications, we need to know who gave you and when and what. Okay. I'm not sure if you know this famous song, right? Like ye kya hua, kaise hua, kab hua, kyun hua. Right? We don't want the Q a lot, but we definitely want kaise hua and kab hua over here in the resume. And that's exactly what you're seeing out here. So bad jokes apart, coming to the main professional experience section, it is so simple as this. You are trying to fill this one pager for your own resume in the things. That's it. All right. And let's look at an example out here. Leading a team of this. This is what we mean by the action words. Overseeing something. Clocked in 170 hours to simulate intensive high risk situations for training 450 recruits at the order office. Okay. This is real, guys. By the way, if you go and look at J.K. Rowling, some of the threads and all that, this is more like fan fiction, literally, because as I said, we all love Harry Potter here. And so this is an example of even how you could talk about things and look at the numbers. So this is what we mean by the achievements. All right. So the one pager at the end of the day in today's session will look like it. And how do I achieve it? Is very simple. And watch me do it. So I already have my responsibilities and accomplishment document, which we have worked on. I am just going to use that as the base and then start filling out things. All right. So let's look at this. I have already figured out that these are things that I wanted to add. So I'm going to copy this and then go back to my template and then add it like, so over here as my accomplishment number 1. All right, I'll just use the same formatting over here. So just for making life easier. And let me just make this bigger as per someone's request. Okay, there you go. All right. So this is the first thing that I've added. See, obviously, I'm going to add the company name and then what it does, etc., etc. Let me just show you quickly for this one particular role that we all worked on. Okay, I have ensured that this is the second thing that I wanted to add to my resume, right? So here, let's go back to the template and add it out here. And of course, like that's over here. Okay, and this is I could probably like make it not bold. So I have added the second part of it. All right. So sometimes you might have the dates for achievements. Sometimes you may not have the dates. All right. Sometimes you can just write it like this. I write accomplishments or achievements in the role. I can just add it like this. I don't have to put it necessarily. If you have the date, it's fine. Because see, for example, you have many roles under the same company. You can keep on adding the different dates. Otherwise, there is no need for a date. We are assuming that whatever you did is there. And of course, we want to have like more space for things in life, right? So we might want to push your uh, things away and then make this better as well. Okay, so this is something that maybe we want to achieve. Now, see, what did we discuss? And then the third point, I've already written in my accomplishment document. And then see, look here, the third point would be something that I thought that I wanted to add this. Um, so here is the one that we added, and we're going to bring it here. And of course, yeah, and the formatting is done. So those are the 3 points, right, which I made from my responsibilities and accomplishment document. And what do I want to add here? So here, either I can choose to add some of my key responsibilities like this. So example, I can go and add like, managing a specialist or something. Okay. Or I can add like, working with various Amazon teams and all, or I can add the short one, right? Remember the short one, which we did, we said like hiring new talent, responsible for business goals, responsible for organizational metrics and all that. So I can, it really depends on what you want to add here. So I can just say managing team, operations team, and then over, like responsible for hiring new talent. And then whatever I have added in this document, right? Like as a small thing, I can add it here, out here. So for example, mentoring and guiding team, responsible for methods, or whichever I want. I'm not going to write everything in the world because there's no space there, right? And so like this, you are going to add the point, and of course, you want to like make it under that and showcase that this is the one. And if you want, you can add the second responsibilities as well. Otherwise, you are typically going to be having it like like this manner, and showcase it in a different way. Okay, and then add the role here. So because we all discussed that this is going to be like an operations manager, and then by the way, like you're going to fill up the date. So the date and everything else have the consistency, right? I'm just randomly filling up things like always. And then if you're working till there, you just do it. Or if you have like finished working and then you're going to like, you've done it something, then you write it like whichever one it is and so on. So either way, it doesn't matter. Okay. So this is something that you have. And of course, you can talk about Amazon and here as one of the companies. And then of course, you write a one-liner about Amazon. So the world's largest retailer with, so maybe like e-commerce, company with what? With, I don't know. All right. Turnover XYZ. So you're going to write it very simply out here, and again followed by the right dates. Okay. So whenever it was. All right. So here, if you're writing till date, then you write it till date. So for example, this would be like an example of a till date. I assume that one of you are having the trouble with the. I'm going to remove the watermark so that you can probably see this is like very easy to do it so that you can see this clearly. Yeah, that I think that helps. Thanks for the suggestion. And of course, you're able to see this here. So the professional experience, I just randomly making it up, guys. Like okay, and then like so this one again, right? You might want to make it as italics and show it separately. And then of course, like you're having this and doing the formatting and so on. Okay, and then suppose you might have done a project under it. So let's say that you led the team for, some automation project or something like that. So in that case, you can still do that. You can write the whole project and then you can write like April, some random thing in the world to about, you know, um, to about August 29. Okay, I would always use a template, at the formatting and all that's the same as this one. This you can typically avoid, and here you can talk like whatever it is. So automated something, and then blah blah blah. Okay, and here it will be more of like saved somewhat hours, some 15 hours by automating some process, etc., etc. That's what our lives are, right? We either change processes, we either change systems, we bring new things, or whatever it is, and then so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it in terms of it. So that was like fairly straightforward in terms of how you convert your top responsibilities and everything else into the CV at this point. Okay. Now the challenge will lie about, you might ask me, hey Kritika, there are so many responsibilities and so many accomplishments I've added. You asked me to add one corresponding responsibility for every task, right? I've added that. How do I add everything to my CV? That's where we say prioritize and pick only your top three. Okay. So after you've done it, you're going to pick only the top three accomplishments in the order of priority. All right. So what do I mean by that? Like, because if we come here, I'm going to look at this and I'll say that, leading a team of 15 specialists in order to do the 100% compliance is one of the biggest things for me. Or ensuring this one by setting up a dashboard is also one of the biggest things. So depending on where you think is important, you're going to accordingly like prioritize and then narrow it out here. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Like, so you can write it as achievements. Some of you need not even write it. So for example, you say something blah blah, and then you led a team for some quality improvement efforts or whatever it is. Okay, and then so on. All right, so you can keep on writing like this. So all this is like whatever you're seeing is formatting things, but the format also definitely makes your life easier and makes it look better. But yeah, we really don't care about your format in terms of the the design and everything, but we definitely care about it for the content. The content is key, and the content is king. Okay, so this is probably how you do it, and of course you can have like ones without this, ones without description, ones with a description, whichever works, like in different ways. And like this, what happens? You probably add every role that you held. So you were operations manager. Before that, you were an assistant manager or associate manager or whatever it is, right? And then before that, let's say that you didn't do any projects in that, so we don't care about it. And then let's say that you worked for probably Flipkart. All right, and the only reason I'm doing it is because all of us buy I mean do more shopping here, and then like you again write like some you know one of India's largest e-commerce companies with blah blah blah, etc., etc. And then here you can add the role, right? So here I don't know, you can probably say that senior operations associate or something of the sort. Okay, and then you started as an associate. So here are examples of how to do it. Very simple, and it didn't really take time, and we're done almost. All you need to do is just do it in 1 hour, and I did keep my promise. Okay, you will need only 1 hour to finish, like after you're done with some of the groundwork. Okay, and then people tell me like, hey, I have already done this, so you told me there's another way, and you've also shown it. So I like, this is the way, right? As I told you, write your short responsibility areas and then start adding accomplishments. Can I not write it this way? You can definitely do it this way, no tension, right? So identify key responsibility areas. So these are the only certain things that you're doing, and then for that, once you start writing, and then from that you start picking up. So this also definitely you can do. So no, there's no harm in doing it. Ultimately we end up with the same thing, that's all. It really doesn't matter. Okay, and that's it. And you're all done with whatever you need. So you have metrics, you have the ways of showing things. Now, some might say that, what if I have like multiple functions? How do I write it? So if you have multiple functions, you probably write it in similar fashion. So here, what happens is you will have like a quality function. So let's say this becomes like quality management or whatever it is that you do. And then you are doing it for some time out here. All right. And all right, and then you're like doing something out here, so that is also perfectly fine. So you could probably like copy this. I'm just going to use this for the formatting part of it. Okay, and there we go. So you can just probably like say XYZ or whatever it is and so on. Okay, so this is just for show. And that's it. So you could keep adding your, if you're an entrepreneur, you'll be having things like this. You'll be having like multiple different functions and probably things. If you are a person who's working in different projects, you might have additional projects under each of these, which will have additional achievements to showcase. If you're a regular person working in a regular PSU or something else, you will have tons of things that you're doing on a regular daily basis. Okay, because sometimes in life, what you do daily, like say for example, as a bank manager, you are supposed to earn some revenue for your bank. It keeps on growing as you grow. That's all happens. So if you're a sales guy, you keep on like, what you call it as expanding your territories that are coming under you, and therefore the targets that are coming under you, the number of salespeople coming under you, right? Or the channels you handle, distributors you handle, etc. So for some of you, you might be doing the same thing over like everywhere, like over your entire life. Okay, but at that time you show the volume of the work or the complexity of the work or how the team size is moved up. Okay, that's all we talk about.